There were many more landmines than I thought there would be. Happy New Year. Goeiemorgen mense. It's day 1,036,022 and 65 of trying to mow my lawn after the holidays, overgrowth. I advise you prepare for holidays as opposed to just going on them. Enjoy the bed. Just got back from vacation. I've been away for about 3 weeks. I haven't mowed for about 4 weeks. I also had a Primo Max application planned for just before I left because the GDD expiry would have been somewhere during the time that we were away. Didn't apply. First observation is that this grenadilla has grown from there to there in that month. This is looking unreal. If I can show it against my foot, I think we're talking 200 mils there, and then the main section. Interestingly enough, the middle part, which is probably where I had over applied plant growth regulator, that's mostly okay. It's sitting at about, let's have a look here, we're talking maybe 50 mils. But where I didn't apply plant growth regulator quite as heavily, the Primo, was up here, because I needed to recover in that little patch where I needed to recover. And this new little zigzag section that I did over here, I left that alone. It's never had a Primo application, and look at the difference. That's what I think most guys should be looking at. So even though there's a surge of growth after your GDD days have expired, it's still under some kind of suppression. Hello Milo, he's missed us. But look at that, that is unreal. So this has never had Primo on it. Same mowing schedule as that, not terrible, about 50 mils. This is, I don't know if you can tell, past my elbow. I don't know how long that is. Elbow length, very long, but at least it's grown back in. That little patch, not so much, but that patch is grown in. Right, so how am I going to fix this? Well, it's Sunday. I've got to unpack after the holiday, clean up the house a little bit, so I'm not going to do anything today. Wednesday, I've got the garden service coming. They're going to use rotary mowers. I'm going to tell them to set it to the highest setting that the rotary can go to. Just give it a mow and a clean up. Basically, they're going to have to redo edges, all that kind of stuff, just tidy up the lawn, but it's going to be long. That's perfectly fine, and that's the same thing that you should do. The next, let's say, day after that, 2 days after that, you bring out the mower and you come down again lower, and you basically look for where you've got a definite ugly scalping effect that's occurring. You can either choose to stop there and leave your grass like that for the rest of the growing season, which will basically keep the green, or you can do a heart of cut reset, which is what I'm gonna probably end up doing, and that is where you take your grass, basically scalp it down to half of where you want its heart of cut to be. So let's say if you wanted a 20 millimeter heart of cut, you got to scalp down to at least 10 millimeters, and then you basically let that grow back into the 20 millimeters where you want it to be, and that should give you the green look. Of course, the scalping effect is going to make it look ugly in the interim. So you can choose to do all of that on day one, or you can do it the nice way and gradually do it, and that will keep the green for the longest. At some point, you're going to have a scalping effect, especially when the grass is that long. So we'll see you on Saturday. Goeiemiddag mense. All right, Wednesday after work, I've got two things to beat. One is the rain, the second is sunset. That's how the grass is looking. I did have the garden service come in today. They got the whole front yard done, and then just did the edges here, and some of the beds didn't get through the lawn. They were here for 2.5 hours. Apparently. So yeah, I'm gonna start mowing this. At least we get it on film. Just another view. Good Lord, look at that dog. Anyway, enough chit chat, let's mow. All right, the weather is turning quickly. A little bit quicker than I thought it would. I just want to give you initial observations as I've mowed through this first little patch right here. In the area where I was mowing regularly, so when the grass was looking normal, I was mowing this little patch over here regularly. That's grown in nice and dense. This area here that was bald, Did get coverage by the grass getting tall like this, but as you can see, it's quite sparse. It's not nice and tight. That sort of falls in line with what we always say. Anyone who does anything with lawn care will tell you mowing is the most important thing to creating a lawn. Otherwise, you just have grass. If you mow and you mow regularly, that brings that neatness to the lawn, aside from all the other tweaky things like top dressing and so on that will help you get an even better lawn. Just mowing it and mowing it regularly helps give you that clean, solid kind of look. That's what you want at the end of the day. With the rain coming in quicker than I thought, I'm going to maybe leave this alone for now. I'm going to mow the little front part there in front of my stoop, because it's just really untidy looking at the pool. And this you see less from the rest of the house. So I'm going to mow that first, and then we'll carry on with this if there's time. Okay, well, I didn't beat the rain, but always try to do something if you've got the time to do it, especially when you have these kind of abnormal circumstances. I guess this is Saturday's baby. It's not really, it's too wet to fire back into the bin. Okay, so without the catcher it's much easier. I'm gonna mow through the rest of the lawn without the catcher. Hopefully some of it dries out before I run over it again a second time with the catcher on, or it will be tomorrow morning's problem. You know those times when you think back on stupid mistakes that you've made in the past and you think, I could have done this, I could have done that to have prevented having gone through that trauma. I'm living one of those moments right now. Check this out. I mean, look at this. That little trim text at its highest height of cut. And I mean, it's basically the height of the mower, the grass. Not down there for whatever reason. Actually, I wonder if that's that dry spot. That little area is always the dry spot, and now it's grown less than everything else. I don't know. Hello Milo. You can tell the grass is looking quite nice over here. First pass is done. That's looking a lot more dense, full of leaf litter. You don't leave leaf litter on your lawns. This is like an amplified example of why I don't like to leave, I bag my clippings. I don't like to let them fly, because this stuff just accumulates. If your grass is not being controlled with like a plant growth regulator or something, that mass of matter, especially if you are like us, most of this year we didn't have any rain, you don't have decomposition at a fast rate when it's so dry. It just sits there. And then if you get a little bit of moisture, a little bit of humidity, it just miffs there and it goes all gross, and that causes disease and smothering effect in the grass. So instead of your grass staying green like this, because this portion here stayed shorter, it goes yellow like this. Now that yellowing effect when scalping is quite normal. This is not the scalped yellow. This is because the grass has been smothered. The parts that are closer to the ground have been sort of covered up. It's not so easy for that portion of the grass to see the sunlight and get air and all that kind of stuff. And that causes it to go yellow instead of green. So the top of the grass grows nice and green. And that's what you want to do when mowing in a lawn. You want to keep it at just the right height so that you can get all that green and a nice tight neat look without smothering your lawn. And if you do start to smother your lawn, you scalp it. That's what we're doing right now. So yeah, you know me, I'm gonna scalp the hell out of this, but maybe not this weekend, because I've got people coming over for a bra tomorrow. So what I might do is, after having dinner, which is now, I am going to come back out, clean it up, and I may just leave it like that for the sake of the braai and kids playing on a reasonably nice lawn tomorrow. That's all. I'll see you just now. All right, pizza and beer in my belly. Time to get the catcher back on. I don't know if you can hear that. Listen to this. Just slushy all over the place. But at least now with the grass being shorter, it will dry out much faster as well. So no more chit chat. Let's just do this. Work, work, work. Nope. Alright, so that's not gonna happen. I am going to have to leave it like this. Technically speaking, unless this dries out properly, the only way to get rid of this muck is going to be with a rake. Not today's problem. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Hope for the best. Yo, I haven't even started cleaning. All this just falling off the mower. That's a dirty boy. Right, next day. It's been a good few hours nice and dry. It did rain 18 mils last night, 1-8. That's a bloody good rain session. But it's been dry now the whole morning. The sun is mostly out. There are clouds about again and some wind picking up. So I think, and if I look at that, which is looking quite dark, we will probably see rain again this afternoon. So I'm going to get as much of this cleaned up as possible. If there's a little bit of fluffy stuff left behind, well, too bad. We'll just have to get it over the next couple of days. But let's mow and see what happens. Alright, so again, it's not looking too good. It's still quite wet. I think though that I'm going to just mow over it again with the rotary. Maybe that breaks up some of the clumps. Lets it dry out now over the next hour or so, hopefully, and then we mow it up. Again, let's just see what happens. Trimtech mower users. If you think your mower is not great, it's something that you're doing, because that little thing with a 160cc engine on it, I've done way more than what you would call domestic use on this mower, and it is perfectly fine. So yeah, just thinking about it now, if I had a side discharge feature, because what's happening at the moment is mowing without the catcher, kind of, let's say problematic. Is a little bit difficult because it gathers all up against the little hatch over there. If it was just pumping out the side, it would, number one, mulch a little bit more inside of the capsule instead of all bogging at the back there. It would mulch reasonably well, cut the lawn, pump it out the side, and when doing that, it would spread it out, causing it to dry out faster. So I would imagine for this sports field kind of vibe that I've got going on over here, side discharge mower, trim everything off the top, either get another mower like a ride-on or something like that, clean up, vacuum up, which is what I'm about to do now with this little guy. That's probably the best way to get through this kind of density. It's started to yellow more because now I've also dropped the mower. So I took advantage of the fact that I can now go lower, and I did it. It was a little bit more difficult to physically push and mow around, but I did it. It's now shorter, yellow coming through, but still looks nice. And that's what it looks like from the top. You can tell there where it's starting to sort of scalp through. Over here where it's looking okay, it's definitely a bit leggy, but it's only now that short. So that's already at like, I don't know, somewhere over 20 mils. Not bad. I would consider that. That's actually a fine length for most Kikuyu lawns. You want to actually keep your lawn per the usual at about 25 mils if you're mowing with a rotary, 20 to 15 mils if you're mowing with a cylinder reel mower. I'm going to go have lunch, let this dry out a bit, and then I'm going to come back out, and I think I'm going to rake up this leaf litter and then mow it up. Let's see again what happens. Okay, back to work. That was slightly hotter than I thought. Nice chainsaws next door. The rain shears above me. Let's see where it goes. Okay, not today. Too noisy, too rainy. Yeah, just in time. There I go, flooding again. That's again great. I think I'll go for a swim though. Great. It's been dry the whole morning. Now it started to rain. I've just bought myself a new rake to get this job done a bit better. I love these metal ones. They're the best for raking leaves and grass clippings and stuff off your lawn. But yeah, now we've got some rain, so maybe I still won't finish with this flippin' lawn story. Enjoy. Right, so it is raining nicely again. I'm not going to win this one, so Sunday morning I'll give up, or I have given up. I will get back to this next weekend, so sorry for a rubbish video, but sometimes it is what it is, you know. But if you don't try and look after your lawn, nothing will happen. It will remain crappy. So yeah, if I sort of get a little bit of an open patch now during the day, I'll come back out and rake. I need to rake to get rid of these grass clippings. It's the only way forward. Once I've cleaned it up, maybe I'll give it another mow. At the very least, I've got the garden service coming on Wednesday. Hopefully it doesn't rain on Wednesday. Then they'll come, they'll put the rotaries over this again and clean up more of the muck. And then next weekend, maybe we'll do a proper old school edge trimming and cylinder mowing video again, just on a yellowish looking lawn. All right, Friday afternoon after work. Garden service was here on Wednesday. They just took off the tips. You've got to pay them extra if you want them to scalp. Of course, you should. It's hard work. So I told them not to. I'm already in the middle of the video, so might as well get this done. And it's not looking too terrible after what I did to it last weekend. Not looking too bad. This is obviously looking quite ugly, but it was taller, less looked after grass in the first place. But, you know, so what? I think if we just get it under control, in a couple of weeks we'll be just fine again. We are expecting some more rain tonight and tomorrow, and then it heats up until about the middle of next week. Clear skies. So we should have some quick recovery then, and then the rain starts all over again. So again, enough talking. Let's mow. Whew. Starting to change color. How's that? Not too bad. I actually can't believe that I was mowing this short per the usual. It's not looking nearly as bad as what I thought it would. I think you can see that there's quite a bit of green in this. Yeah, a little bit difficult to tell with the light, but I think you can see it. I can see it. And it is really nice and short. It's not thatchy. I mean, I've got soil, even in the more dense parts, minus this, it's very close to the ground. I'm definitely sitting at the, that length. And I think, yeah, just a little bit more mowing is going to get this nice and tight. I do believe that I'm not in trouble, not at least the type of trouble that I thought that I might be in. I thought I was going to have a horrible lawn for the rest of the season after this growth, because it was quite bad. But because it was looked after beforehand, it's maybe saved me to some extent. Obviously, if it didn't rain this much, it would have been done in a day. But Mother Nature didn't let me. So yeah, there we go. We shall now call that the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share this with your buddies. We will see you next weekend. Cheers.